All right, this video we're going to take a look at measuring area and volume. We're going to do some unit conversions and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started. So we've got square units of measure, the English system. So it's going to be, if you watch the previous video on measuring length, the metric system, this is pretty similar, converting things. So we've got some stuff here where we make some conversions. We've got 1 square foot. Okay, that's what this means. 1 square foot. It would be written out like this: one square foot is equal to 144 square inches. Okay, so that's what that is. I've got all these and I've abbreviated them. Okay, this is square feet, square inches, square yards, square miles. Now I'll talk about this A when I get there, but that's all it is. So the conversion is 1 square foot is 144 square inches. Okay, so let's just look at that real quick. Let me draw you a picture. Maybe it'd help you understand it a little better. So let's say we've got a square that's 1 foot by 1 foot. Okay, now remember, area, that's like just finding the area of a square. Okay, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about area: square feet, square inches. Now when we get to talking about volume, that's cubic feet, cubic inches. Okay, but let's just look at area right quick. So we've got 1 foot by 1 foot. So the area of this is what? 1 times 1, which is 1 square foot. Okay, now let's say we have that. Let's draw that same square right here. Okay, this is a 1 foot by 1 foot square, also same dimensions, but we know that 1 foot is 12 inches, right? That's the same thing. That was in the previous video. 12 inches in a foot. Well, what's the area of this? Well, what's 12 times 12? 12 times 12 is 144 square inches. It's the same thing. Same things with yards to feet. Okay, you could change this to yards. I know I'm just writing over it. Probably looks messy. Okay, yards. Well, so that's 1 yard. Okay, 1 yard by 1 yard is one square yard. Well, I could label this 3 feet instead of 1 yard because there's 3 feet in a yard. Well, what's 3 times 3? 9 square feet. Okay, and then the same thing goes, for the rest of them. Now, there is this right here. You'll need to know this. This right here, this 1, that is 1 acre. That's what the A stands for, is an acre. So 1 acre is 43,560 square feet, or 4,840 square yards. And 1 square mile is 640 acres. Okay, and I'll write it out here, acres. All right, let me put a S there. All right, so these, the first two right here, you can probably get those pretty easy because there's 12 inches in a foot, there's 3 feet in a yard. That. This one's not so common knowledge. That you got to memorize that. Okay, that's something you just have to memorize. All right, so let's look at our example here. So it says, after Alaska, Wyoming is the least densely populated state. The population of Wyoming is 568,158, and its area is 97,814 square miles. What is Wyoming's population density? Okay, so really there's no conversion. We're not converting units here. We're just trying to find the population density. Okay, it's basically for this. Well, let's work the problem out and then I'll explain what it means. Okay, what we're finding. Okay, so the population density is equal to the population divided by the area. Okay. All right. So the population is, let's see, 568,158 people, right? Over the 97,814 square miles. Okay, that's what we're finding. And then we put this into our calculator and we end up with 5.8. All right. Now, there is something that we have to add on to this 5.8. Okay. So what is this? This is 5.8 people. You see this right here? People per square mile. Okay. It's 5.8 because see this right here reduces down to 5.8. So it's 5.8 people per square mile. Okay. So this means that there's an average of only 5.8 people for every square mile of area. And so that's what we're finding. Let me make that look more like an S. All right. And that's your answer. So I hope that makes sense. All right. Let's look at the next one. All right. So it says that a national park consists of 75,000 acres. How large is the national park in square miles? All right. Well, let's find that. All right. So just like in the previous video, I've got what? 75,000 acres. I'm going to abbreviate acres with an A. Okay. Let's put that over 1. Now, I'm converting to square miles. So that means the square miles has to go in the numerator. And I want to get rid of acres. So that goes in the denominator. So now we just need to see the relationship between square miles and acres. Okay. So there's 1 square mile is equal to 640 acres. So 1 square mile is equal to 640 acres. And then when you punch that into your calculator, you're going to get approximately 117 square miles. Okay, because see the acres canceled out, and that's what you're left with. See, it's really important to write these units of measurement down as you're working the problems, because then you can see how they cancel, and it also helps you to see where the numbers go, the 1 and the 640. Okay, and we just got this. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Let me just grab that. Let me just copy that and paste that down here, see if that'll work. Yep. You see, we got that from here. 1 square mile is equal to 640 acres. 1 square mile is equal to 640 acres. You see that? That's all it is. Okay. All right, so let's look at this one. And you know, I mean, I know I just worked this one problem, but that's just, you know, whatever you have, just go back up and look at this, and it tells you exactly how to convert it. Okay. All right, English and metric equivalents for area. Okay, so now this is just something you would have to memorize here. Okay, if your teacher's really nice, they might give you these conversions on the test. Okay, so we've got 1 square inch is 6.5 square centimeters. 1 square foot is 0.09 meters squared. 1 square yard is 0.8 meters squared. 1 square mile is 2.6 kilometers squared, and 1 acre is equal to 0.4 hectares. Okay. All right. So, well, let's work a problem. Okay. It says a property in Italy is advertised at $545,000 for 6.8 hectares. Find the area of the property in acres, and what is the price per acre? All right, so we got 2 things to answer here. So this is easy. So let's go ahead and convert the area to acres. So we're going to go from hectares to acres. All right, so we've got what? 6.8. Okay, 6.8, and I'm going to what? I'm going to hectares, and the abbreviation is HA. That's what I'm going to use, HA. That's the abbreviation for hectares. And I'm going to put that over 1 because I'm going to be multiplying the fractions. And so I'm going to acres, right? I'm going to acres. So acres is going to go on top. Hectares is going to go on bottom. Okay, so acres in the numerator, hectares in the denominator. All right. So, well, what's the relationship between them? Well, let's go look. 1 acre is 0.4 hectares. So 1 acre is 0.4 hectares. All right. Now, the hectares cancel out. Now, I'm going to say this because I don't know if some of you may be thinking this or not. Believe me, the stuff that I've seen doing this over the years. Do you see this HA? That's an abbreviation for hectares. You cannot, okay, not cancel that A and that A out. Okay? You can't do that. I just thought I'd mention that. All right. This is hectares. This is acres. These are just abbreviations for hectares and acres. So those cancel. And when you put that into your calculator, you get 17 acres. Now, let me see. Let's see. Make sure that's right. 6.8 divided by 0.4. Yep, 17 acres exactly. So that's the property. That's how big the property is in acres. All right. Now, they want to know what is the price per acre. All right, so that's not going to be too bad there. So the price per acre is what? Well, wouldn't you think it's the, what was it, $545,000 over what? Over how many acres? So we've got 17 acres. Yeah, I mean, you could abbreviate it with an A or write it out. But anyway, so then you divide, and so you're going to get what? $32,059 per acre. And that's your answer. All right, so that's not too bad. All right, so now we've got English units for capacity. So now we're talking about volume. Okay, so remember the difference between area and volume. So area is like, say like you have a wall and you need to paint the wall. Well, how much paint do you need to cover that wall? Okay, that's area. Volume is, let's say you have like a basketball or something and you cut a hole in the basketball. How much liquid can you pour into that basketball to fill it up with the liquid? Okay, so we've got some conversions here. We've got 2 pints is 1 quart, 4 quarts and 1 gallon. 1 gallon is 128 fluid ounces, and 1 cup is equal to 8 fluid ounces. Once again, that you'll have to remember it. If you got a really nice teacher, they may give you these conversions for the test. I don't know. If not, you'd have to memorize them. And then we've got cubic units here. So 1 cubic yard is about 200 gallons. 1 cubic foot is about 7.48 gallons. And 231 cubic inches is about 1 gallon. Okay. So, I mean, but you know, like I said, all this stuff that we're doing with conversions and stuff, it's going to be the same that we've been doing this whole time. Okay, it's going to be the same thing. It's just the numbers, the numbers for conversion are just different. That's it. But the process is the same. Okay, I think if you can do one of them, you should be able to do all of them. All right, so let's look at this. So we have a swimming pool has a volume of 22,500 cubic feet. How many gallons of water does the pool hold? All right, so well, let's see. So we've got 22,500, and that's gallons. So we'll write GAL for gallons. All right. Put that over 1 because we're going to multiply it to something. All right. So, well, once again, there it is. Okay, we need to get rid of gallons. So gallons goes in the denominator. What are we going to? Oh, I'm sorry. I botched that one up, didn't I? This is cubic feet. Okay. I'm glad I caught that. I would really hear that in the comments. All right, so we're starting with cubic feet. Okay, starting with cubic feet. And look, if you notice that I did that wrong, that means you'd understand it. So that's a good job. I guess I'll say I did that on purpose to see if you could catch it. We'll go with that. All right, so we've got cubic feet, and we're going to gallons. So there's gallons, and cubic feet's going on the denominator because we need those to cancel out. Now, what relationship do we have between cubic feet and gallons? Well, let's see. There you go. 1 cubic foot in 7.48 gallons. 1 cubic foot in 7.48 gallons. And there it is. See, that's all it is. The cubic feet cancel. And so this is going to be, after we multiply it, that's going to end up being 168,300 gallons. Okay. All right, let's look at this. And I worked one example, but hopefully you can see it doesn't matter. You just gotta write your fraction down like, just like I've been doing this whole time, and then go up here and see the relationship between them. Okay. All right, so units of capacity in the metric system. So we got kiloliters, hectoliters, decaliters, liters, deciliters, centiliters, and milliliters. And, compared to its kiloliters is 1,000 liters, that's 100, and so on. I'm not going to read them all. And we also got another little bit of information here, this one right here, that 1 liter is approximately 1.06 quarts. Okay. All right, so let's see what kind of fun example. Well, we got a little more here. So 1 cubic centimeter is 1 milliliter. 1 cubic decimeter is 1,000 cubic centimeters, which is 1 liter, and 1 cubic meter is 1 kiloliter. All right. So this is, I mean, look, this right, all of this right here, this is the same thing that we just did with these units up here. Okay. It's the same thing. All right. See how this one's going from cubic feet, cubic inches, and cubic yards to gallons? Well, that's all this one's doing. This one's doing, let's see, where am I? Well, here we go. See, this is just going to from cubic centimeters to milliliters. Okay, it's the same thing. All right, except it's just in metric. So let's look at this next example here. We've got an aquarium has a volume of 36,000 cubic centimeters. How many liters of water does the aquarium hold? So look, this right here is like the one we just did. What's the difference? Well, we went from cubic feet to gallons. Cubic feet to gallons. Now we're just going from cubic centimeters to liters. Okay, it's going to be the same thing. So let's write it out. So I've got 36,000 cubic centimeters. Okay, so there's cubic centimeters. Put that over 1 times, and then cubic centimeters goes in the denominator, okay, because I want that to cancel out. And what goes up here? And liters goes in the numerator, because that's what I want to go to. Okay, let's go see if we can find a relationship between the two. Well, look, there it is right there. No, I'm sorry. That's to milliliters. It's right here. You see that? 1,000 cubic centimeters in 1 liter. 1,000 cubic centimeters in 1 liter. That's all it is. And so we can see the cubic centimeters cancel. And so I'm left with 36 liters. And there's your answer. All right, so now what about English and metric equivalents for capacity? So I'm not going to read through all these. You can read them. That's a teaspoon goes to milliliters, tablespoon to milliliters, fluid ounces to milliliters, cup to liter, and so on. Okay? All right, so, just the same thing. So let's look at this. We've got an example. All right, we got a medical question here, don't we? All right, so let's see what it says. It says a physician orders 10 cc of the drug Lexapro to be administered to a patient in liquid form. How many milliliters of the drug should be administered? Okay, so we've got to use we're going from cubic centimeters. Okay, from cubic centimeters to what? To milliliters. So let's see if we have that. Let's see if there's anything dealing with that. Let's see. We got to go from cubic centimeters to milliliters. So, well, there you go. Look at that. 1 cubic centimeter is 1 milliliter. And I think, well, let's see. So 1 cubic centimeter, or 1 cc, is equal to 1 milliliter. Now, well, what do we need? We need 10 cc. There's really nothing to do there. They're the same. So that's what? 10 milliliters. 10 cc is 10 milliliters. It's 1 to 1. 1 equals 1. They equal each other. Okay. How many fluid ounces of the drug should be administered? how many fluid ounces of the drug should be administered. All right, so we're going from what? Milliliters to fluid ounces. Or we could go from 10 cubic centimeters to fluid ounces. I guess we could do that too, couldn't we? Well, let's see which one we want to do. So the options are cubic centimeters or milliliters. Which one do I want to use to go to fluid ounces? Well, let's see. Look at this. See, that's the good part about this. This helps make your decision. I have a relationship there between fluid ounces and milliliters. You see that? All right. So let's look at this. So I want to go from 10 milliliters, put that over 1, and then I want the milliliters to cancel out, and what goes on top? Well, the fluid ounces. And what was it? I forgot. Let's see. Yeah. 1 fluid ounce, 30 millimeters. 1 fluid ounce to 30 milliliters. And so this is approximately, the milliliters cancel. So this is approximately 0.33 fluid ounces. And of course that 3 is, it's going to keep repeating and all that stuff. So, well, look at there. That's the last problem. So I hope that helped. You know, like I said, they're all the same when you're working them. They're really not any different. You know, the lesson that was done last time versus this one. You know, the video right before this one in the playlist. So I hope this helped. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.